Hi, folks. Here we are, Ian and Lynn.
And Ian and Lynn, yes.
So we're here with you today and tonight. Swedenborg has been an interest of mine for a long time. I studied Swedenborg and then I met Ian. And we really want to develop a podcast series with you folks. So we're trying this out. I'm showing StreamYard for Ian now. And we're excited because Swedenborg and regeneration is really important. It's kind of, what would you say it is?
Well, it's the beginning of living a proper life.
Yeah, like really looking at ourselves as, that internal part of ourselves that we want to live really well.
And we learn how to change it when we think it needs changing.
Right. And how does Swedenborg do that?
He gets you to think about things, to recognize when you're doing things that you didn't want to do. And then you what we call repent, you decide not to do something anymore. And normally individual people can't just decide to change some of their basic loves. But in a religious context, if you ask the Lord to help you and to change you, and you permit him to do that, then you can change your loves and you can learn a better way of doing things.
Right. But you've talked a lot about influx, so I'm curious about influx.
Yes. Yes, all the life we have comes from influx, from God. And so for us to change, we have to rearrange the receiving of that influx. We have to ask God to help us change the way we receive. Because we can receive life from God, but we can use it in strange ways which we shouldn't be doing. But if we ask him to rearrange us and help us, then we can be regenerated. We can have some new life, which can be more better organized.
We've talked a lot, Ian, about Christianity, and it's not like the Catholic repent. I think this is where a lot of people, we think about sinning, or we think about doing something wrong, or we think about areas of our lives. Swedenborg talks a lot about love and loves and affections and living from a really blessed place. So I thought maybe we can move regeneration into that conversation, because I think loves and affections for me is about, if I'm moving into the right direction, I can catch myself from a situation that might not look completely well.
In order to catch yourself, you have to have some basic understanding of what a good life consists of. So you have to have some basic way of viewing what your loves and your inner life is about. And quite often you can only discover that when you see yourself doing things. So you have to, after you do something, you can reflect afterwards on what it was about and what love led to that, and you can decide whether this is something you want to continue or whether you want to change yourself and regenerate and do something slightly different.
Right. And then there's, a lot of times you're talking about discrete degrees. Can you talk about that a little bit?
We have, when we grow up as children, we are just beginning to understand things. We understand how to do things, but we don't understand what the causes of those. But as we get to be older, we understand more about the technical causes of everything that happens in the world. We learn about science and we learn about how to interact with other people. But then as we get older again, we learn more about the causes and the loves that lead people to do these. And these are all different discrete degrees. They are stages of the way life enters into us, because it actually comes from God with the loves first, and then knowledge about science and other things, and then the actions which we have in daily living. So each of those is a discrete degree, and we grow up through them as we get older, and we go to school and we learn things, and then we become adults and we learn how to live our lives properly. So we have to learn separately at each stage. It's not just all in one to start with.
And I think for me, when I look at loves and affections, and I've learning about Swedenborg and looking at discrete degrees, You know, I want to ask you right now. Why don't you tell the audience who you are and what you do and what you're excited about, and then I'll share what I'm
Well,
excited about.
I'm a physicist. I've been thinking about physics and I'm thinking about spiritual things for an equally long time, for the last 40 years. And so I've come to try and have an understanding of how spiritual things and physical things are linked together. And this idea of discrete degrees, which I got from Emanuel Swedenborg, I think is a very important way of viewing the connection between different parts of the world, because it's not just all one thing, but even within the one life that we have altogether, there are sub degrees that we have to go through and we have to learn about, and we have to learn how to act in each of these levels. And regeneration is when you gain a life in a higher degree.
Right. And Swedenborg, I think when you start thinking about regeneration and you go higher in your consciousness of, helping yourself, we've got angels, we've got angels to help us. And I think this is one of the areas where I'm very excited, because I think when you start looking at spiritual experience and you start looking at regeneration, we're kind of shown at times, wouldn't you say? We're shown.
We definitely, we often have insights which come to us from time to time. We have dreams which lead us on, and then we can reflect on what we've done, and we're given the ability to adjust our lives.
Right. So discrete degrees kind of moves us into this relational part with the higher worlds, like
It
with
shows,
the spiritual world.
it's a way of thinking about worlds at different levels. And so the angels are a discrete degree above us. They enter into our affections, which are where our life starts in our degree, in the natural degree. But we don't normally talk to the angels. They feel the way we feel. They live in our loves and affections. So occasionally might be able to talk to angels, but that's not their main function. Their main function is to regulate the loves which enter into our lives.
Awesome. So that's our session for tonight. It's the first one that we're doing on Swedenborg and regeneration. I hope we'll see you again. And Ian got to learn this beautiful platform. And thanks for visiting us.
Thanks, Lynn, for showing me.
Have a beautiful night.
Okay. In